Aharyad Brahmanovidhu, that there are different ages or epochs, cyclical epochs, or spans of time that are characterized by different qualities. The current age that we find ourselves in is called the Kali Yuga, which began at about 3000 BCE, excuse me. We grew up BC in the Christian concept. Now it's Common Era. They have taken Christ out of the equation, haven't they? And they used to be, after the year zero, birth of Christ, everything after that was Anno Domino, which means in the year of our Lord. And now, but now it's CE, the Common Era. We have removed God. That is for the primitive people. Just see. So the very language reveals the consciousness. So Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, supreme Lord over all that be. And he establishes this very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, Lord Krishna appeared about 3100 BC. And at that time was the end of the previous age, the Dwapara Yuga. And just before the beginning of the Kali Yuga. But the Kali Yuga could not manifest. Kali Yuga has many difficult qualities about it. The Iron Age, or the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. That's also explained in the Vedic scripture, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is one of the principal scriptures of the devotees of Lord Krishna. So, there it describes the qualities of the human beings in the Kali Yuga. Manda sumanda matayo mandya bhaga hi upadrutaha. That men in this age, they have but short lives, and they are always lazy, quarrelsome, and misguided. And he upadruta means certainly, above all, they're very unfortunate. So, seems to really describe our modern society quite nicely, although that Bhagavatam was spoken right at the time of the departure of Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago. So, also in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes these different ages and how they work. Ages of Satya Yuga, the Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. And each age is shorter than the previous one. And also in each age, the good qualities of the human being are diminished by 1/4. And in the Bhagavatam, it's described about the 4 legs of religion or qualities of religion: cleanliness, truthfulness, mercifulness, and austerity. And in the Kali Yuga, those are all diminished to where there's practically nothing left except for maybe a little bit of truthfulness. But the cleanliness, the mercy, and the austerity, those are gone. And irreligion reigns supreme. Even before the Kali Yuga, when Krishna appeared, at that time, the Bhagavatam describes how the Earth planet was feeling overburdened by the unnecessary bellicose kings. And she appealed to Lord Brahma, the sub-creator of the universe, to please do something about that. And at that time, Lord Krishna appeared, and he annihilated many of these demoniac dynasties of kings and established the rulership of the world in the hands of his devotees, the Pandavas, especially Maharaj Yudhisthira. So Krishna describes how these different epochs, these 4 epochs, which together come to about a few million years. When you take 1,000 of those 4 ages together, that equals 1 day of Brahma, who is the most intelligent person in the universe and who is deputed by the Supreme Lord to sort of oversee and construct and carry on the affairs of universal management. Some people think there is no management in the universe. Some people think there's no management in the federal government. And perhaps we may be about to experience the complete breakdown of that management under a new paradigm, unfortunately. But just as there is a management in the affairs of the state, so there is also management in the affairs of the cosmos. And Lord Brahma, he is the principal person in charge, but he lives a very long time. His lifespan is so long that, as Krishna says in the Gita, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidu, that 1,000 cycles of the 4 ages taken together constitute his 1 day. And that works out to 4,320,000,000 years. And such is also the length of his night. So that is a fantastic lifespan. It is very long compared to our short lives of maximum 100 years. And so Lord Krishna, he comes to this universe, he comes to this Earth planet 1 time in a day of Brahma. So once in 4,320,000,000 years, he appears. That just happened to be 5,000 years ago. So you just missed him. Krishna was just here. It was only 5,000 years ago, which in terms of cosmic time, is just a flash. Oh, you just missed him. He was here in India just the other day. He's gone now. And he stayed on this earth for 125 years, and he delivered his treatise, the Bhagavad Gita, is the ultimate handbook of spiritual knowledge and revelation of the difference between matter and spirit. And it is the most authoritative book. Even to this day, Gita is very ancient. And not only is it ancient, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that I have spoken this knowledge before, but we have passed through many different lifetimes and you do not remember them. And we have been together as friends, but I remember everything because I'm the imperishable supreme personality of Godhead who does not appear in a material body, spiritual form. So he explains how 120 million years before he had delivered this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Surya Dev, the predominating deity of the sun. Yes, there's management on the sun also, and every planet. Actually, Bhagavad Gita explains that there's life everywhere in the universe. Sarvagataha. So we have our different concepts, Star Trek and planets and space travel and the cosmos, but Krishna gives a different view. Things that are not dreamt of by Horatio in heaven and earth. But this is authoritative knowledge that is being presented by the Lord himself since time immemorial. So 120 million years ago, he spoke Bhagavad Gita. And he says, from time to time, yada yada hi dharmasya, glanarata, abhusanam dharmasya, tadatmanam srijamyaham, that I appear whenever there is dharmasya glani, when there is a discrepancy in the practice of religion in human society, then I come. Now, can we more discrepancy in the practice of religion in human society than now? Yeah, very tough out there, isn't it? But the Lord appears in different ways and at different times. And in this age of Kali, he appears in the form of his holy name. And the holy name of the Lord is not like an ordinary sound vibration. It is very powerful. This chanting of Hare Krishna is so powerful that if you take to this chanting nicely, you will give up your bodily conception of life. You will no longer identify with this material body, which is just a temporary covering of the eternal soul. And you will come in contact with the Lord through that potency of sound vibration. Therefore, we chant Hare Krishna. Now, although Krishna just appeared 5,000 years ago, actually he came again more recently, 500 years ago. He appeared in Bengal as Sri Krishna Chaitanya, or Lord Chaitanya, also known as Goda, Lord Goda, and his associate Nityananda, Goda Nitai. And we have the deities on the altar of Sri Sri Goda Nitai. But in this incarnation, he appeared not as Krishna himself, but he appeared covered. He's called a Chana avatar, covered incarnation. And he appears as if he were a devotee of the Lord, in order to teach the example, to show the life of a devotee and how to become a devotee of Lord Chaitanya. So he's the inaugurator of the Sankirtan movement, Hare Krishna mantra in congregation. There's individual personal meditation on the holy names, Hare Krishna, privately as a personal meditation. And then there's the Sankirtan, which is the congregational chanting. And that also has great power and potency. It is the nature of the participatory aspect of chanting the holy names. And the more people that chant together, then the more that presence of the Lord is invoked, and then the more that spiritual potency is not only felt, but is acted upon in the lives of the participants. So it's a group thing. We also have our personal individual meditation, but then we have our group meditation. And it is very wonderful indeed. Lord Kapila Dev, who's a great philosopher that appeared a few million years ago, he says in one verse in the third canto of the Bhagavatam, Satam prashangam mama virya samvido. Satam prashangam, satam means devotees. Sat, those who are engaged in eternal activities, not just the ordinary business of this temporary world, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, business, family life, social intercourse. But satam means those who are focused on serving God. Satam prashangam, sangha means association. So, and the word prasanga means a intensified association. Satam prashangam mama virya samvido, bhavanti hrit karna rasayana kataha. That when one engages in hearing and chanting about the Lord, which is our process of realization, hearing and chanting, specifically the holy names of the Lord, and also discussion of his pastimes, his activities, his qualities, his philosophy, then there are some wonderful effects that take place. Now, normally people come together and discuss many mundane things like the news and politics and sports and finance. And there are associations created just for all these different things. Of course, nowadays there are, internet chat groups for whatever subject it is that you could possibly be interested in, most of which are not sat. They're not spiritual subject matters, nor do they benefit the hearers. They're called asat. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told us that asat sanga tyag e vaishnavachar, that the achar, the behavior of a devotee, is atsat sangatyag. He gives up the association of non-devotees. Sri Sangi Ekasada Krishna Bhakta Ar. That's from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this Satam Prashangam Mama Virya Samvido, the gathering of about Krishna, it is not ordinary thing, it is very powerful. It has a special effect upon, as compared to drinking nectar in the Vedic concept. There is this idea of nectar, like in a special type of drink they have in the heavenly planets where one drinks it and one attains immortality and freedom from disease. So that hearing about Krishna is a type of nectar, but it's not drunk through the lips. That nectar is imbibed through the ear, through the process of hearing. And the process of hearing, that is the actual way of acquiring spiritual knowledge. We could say that reading also is a form of hearing. If you read Bhagavad Gita, then you're also hearing through your intellect. So that hearing of Krishna and Krishna's holy name, it has a very pleasing effect. And not only that, but that nectar coming into the ear, it enters into the ear, it is very pleasing. And then it also enters into the heart of the living entity where the soul is located. In this body, the soul lives within the heart. As long as the heart is beating, the soul is present. As soon as the heart stops beating, then the soul leaves the body when it's no longer fit for living due to whatever cause it may be, old age, disease, a terrible accident, or whatever. So as long as the soul is present in the heart, in this body, then this body has life. But that's those symptoms of life, of which the primary symptom is consciousness, is due to the presence of the soul. And as soon as the soul leaves the body has no particular value. When someone dies, what in common parlance, what do you say? He's gone. He is left. He's no longer with us. That's true. Those are all perfectly wonderful examples of understanding the presence of the soul, or the absence, as in the case of a dead body. But as soon as the soul leaves the body, the dead body is no longer desirable to be in proximity to. I know I had the occasion within the last couple of years to left her body, and we were there, and then they came to take the body for cremation. So it was just one lady, and the gurney that she had there wouldn't go around the corner into the room where the Mataji had left her body. So I assisted her in carrying the body and placing it on the gurney in the hallway. Interesting experience. But you could see the body was there, a lump of matter, but no consciousness, no life. The soul had left the body. And so the body, no more walking, no more talking, no more joking, no more eating, no more enjoying the association of others. It's just a dead body, just a lump of bag of bones. What do? You dig a hole in the ground, throw it in the ground, or you burn it, or some way. You have to dispose of the material body. And it will, if you don't remove the body, it will become a very unimaginable mess in a short amount of time, because of the bacteria. They're still alive. They're still eating. Oh yes, now we can take over. No longer is the soul there to inconvenience us. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 500 years ago, after Krishna gave his instruction in Bhagavad Gita, the penultimate instruction of Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter is Krishna, and by way of instructing Arjuna, he's instructing the entire universe, everyone, every human being, that your ultimate religion, your ultimate duty is to surrender to me. And I will protect you from all sinful reactions. Do not worry. That's the ultimate conclusion in the Bhagavad Gita, near the end of the Gita, of Krishna's discourse. And so, that your real duty in life is to surrender yourself to God. Oh, I'm too busy. I have too many other things I have to do. I have my family, I have my business, I have so many things. Why are you making such an unreasonable demand anyway? Who are you to make such a demand? Well, of course, the Lord himself. He can say whatever he likes and do whatever he likes. That's the position of God. He's the supreme. So he's giving this instruction, but no one. Too difficult. Come back next week, and I will think about it, and then we can discuss. Or come back next life, maybe in a future life, or what they say. You hear in India, they say a lot. When God wants me to surrender, I will surrender then, but not now. Yes, that means you will never surrender. Because he's already asking you, he's already telling you, you have to surrender. Oh, no. He will come get me when he's ready. Meanwhile, I am very busy, enjoying my senses, and thinking I am this body. So do not disturb me at this time. So that's the nature of the conditioned soul. No inclination to surrender to the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came and he had a different tactic. He said, oh, you don't worry about surrender. You just chant the holy names. Just chant the Hare Krishna mantra and learn to live the life of a devotee. And then your life will be very sublime, and you will achieve the supreme destination. So the more we engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness, then the more we become inclined to, as Krishna says, Sarva Dharmam Parityajya, give up all your nonsense conceptions of religion, and Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, just surrender to me. And that is the path of Krishna consciousness that is so beautifully, wonderfully, and nicely given to us by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has shown the way. Now, Lord Chaitanya himself did not write any books. He wrote one group of prayers called the Shikshashtaka, 8 verses. But through his disciples, especially the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, them extensively in the Vedic conclusions and instructed them to write books and propagate Krishna consciousness and build temples, which they did. And this has come down to us, and especially beginning in the 19th century, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great powerful devotee and preacher, he wrote over 100 books, and he was fluent in English, Sanskrit, Bengali, Urdu, many languages, a great preacher and an exemplar of someone who lives the life of a devotee. He had an idea to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, which was predicted by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he had one son, he had 14 children, but one of his sons was an extraordinary devotee of the Lord, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And Bhaktisiddhanta began a preaching movement in India in the beginning of the 20th century. And he established 64 temples or moths, the Gaudiya moth. And his foremost disciple, who understood his mood and his preaching mission, is none other than our own Srila Prabhupada, who first met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in 1922. And there Bhaktisiddhanta told him quite boldly, upon first meeting him, without even actually exchanging names, other greetings, that you are an educated young man in English, you spread this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world through the English language. And Srila Prabhupada spent decades of his life trying to fulfill this order. And finally, in 1965, he came practically penniless, but armed with trunks of books of Srimad Bhagavatam translations, which he had written, translated, and written a commentary on. He came to these shores, first to Boston Harbor, then to New York City. And then miraculously, over the next 12 years, he spread the Krishna conscious movement all over the world. All over the world, everywhere you go, you will find. One time I heard this radio program on the public radio, and they were talking about something, and they'd gone to Russia, and there was a kirtan party there. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, chanting mridanga and kartals. And they said, oh my God, these guys are here too? We see these guys in LA and New York, but they're here in Russia too? What are they doing here? Of course, we have many now, thousands and thousands and thousands of tens of thousands of devotees in Russia and all over the world. That is the potency of a pure devotee, preaching Krishna consciousness, fulfilling the prophecy that Lord Chaitanya said that one day my holy name will be chanted in every town and village on the surface of the globe. So it has come to pass already, that prediction, amazingly. And that is the power of Krishna consciousness, to transform the lives of ordinary unlucky people in this Kali Yuga into lives of spiritual fulfillment through the practice of Krishna consciousness, and specifically the holy names. So our time has expired, but now we will engage in more chanting of the holy names. And then after the kirtan, then we will have available spiritual food, prasadam, for everyone to partake and enjoy. And everyone can sit out on the patio. It's not too cold tonight. So thank you all very much for your kind attention. Thank you for hearing this message of Krishna consciousness. And I'll be in the dining room awaiting you to give you